Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the story of the most successful investor you've probably never heard of. A man who didn't just play the market, he completely rewrote the rules. Okay, let's just start with a single number, because it's kind of hard to believe. 66%. Imagine an investment fund that could pull in that kind of return, not just for one good year, but on average. And yeah, that's what we're talking about here. This wasn't a fluke. For over 3 decades, this was the average gross annual return of the Medallion Fund. It's a number that just seems to defy logic, blowing past legends like Warren Buffett. So the billion-dollar question is, how on earth did they do it? To really get our heads around how this was even possible, we gotta look at the numbers. And believe me, they are absolutely staggering. So get this, these are the net returns. We're talking after they charge some of the highest fees in the history of finance, a 5% management fee and a massive 44% performance fee. Even after taking those huge cuts, the Medallion Fund still delivered an insane 39% a year. That's almost double what Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway did and nearly 4 times the S&P 500. Just incredible. All told, the fund raked in over $100 billion in profits. And here's the kicker, it did all of this while operating in almost total secrecy. It's been closed to outside investors since 1993. It was basically a private money printing machine. And here's where the story takes a turn. The architect behind the greatest money machine in modern history, he wasn't some Wall Street hotshot. His journey and his entire way of thinking started in a completely different universe. So let's rewind a bit. Let's go to his origin story and see how this one-of-a-kind mind was formed, way before he ever even thought about stocks or bonds. Just look at this timeline. You won't see a single trading job on there for years. Jim Simon's early career was pure high-level academia and top-secret government work. I mean, the guy got his PhD by 23 and then went on to be a code breaker during the height of the Cold War. He was literally trained to find patterns, not pick stocks. You know, his job at the Institute for Defense Analysis was to find these tiny, non-random signals buried in the noise of encrypted enemy messages. And that very skill, finding a hidden message in what looks like total chaos, that would become the cornerstone of his entire investment philosophy. He started to see the market as just another code that needed to be cracked. Okay, so let's dive into how he took that very unique code breakers toolkit and applied it to maybe the biggest, most chaotic puzzle of all, the global financial markets. Simmons built his firm, Renaissance Technologies, on an idea that was, frankly, completely radical for its time. He just ignored all the Wall Street wisdom. Instead of hiring traders who worked on gut feelings, he hired pure problem solvers. He even had a famous no-tie rule because, as the story goes, they didn't need to impress anyone. The results would do all of the talking. His recruiting strategy was so simple, it was genius. Find the smartest people on the planet, period. He didn't care about their background. He hired astrophysicists, computational linguists, statisticians, basically people who saw the market not as a story to be told, but as a giant, complex data system that was just waiting to be decoded. His whole strategy really came down to this one core belief. He built this campus that was more like a university than a hedge fund, where all these brilliant minds could just collaborate, test out their wildest ideas, and follow the data wherever it took them, completely free from the usual pressures of finance. So, how did this team of scientists actually pull it off? I mean, while the exact algorithms are probably one of the most closely guarded secrets in the world, we do know the basic framework of their revolutionary approach. And maybe the best way to wrap your head around it is this. They built the Google of finance. Their whole approach wasn't about making a few big, heroic bets. It was about building a system, a learning machine that was constantly sucking in data, finding patterns, and testing ideas. And just like a search engine, it got smarter and smarter with every new piece of information. The whole process was incredibly disciplined and systematic. They would collect just terabytes of data on everything you can imagine. Market data, news, even weather patterns. Then their algorithms would hunt for these tiny, fleeting statistical signals. From there, they would combine thousands of these small, high-probability trades into a single portfolio. The whole system was designed to take human emotion out of the picture and execute with machine-like precision, constantly learning and adapting as it went. And this quote from Simmons himself just says it all. Their ultimate goal was to build a system that was so robust and so evidence-based that human bias, fear, greed, intuition, was completely erased from the process. They trusted the data and only the data. So what can we, as just everyday learners and thinkers, take away from this incredible success story? Well, the good news is you don't need a PhD in math to start applying his core principles. When you really boil it down, the Simmons playbook isn't about complex math, it's about a mindset. It's about using data to make objective decisions, building reputable systems to take your own emotions out of the loop, learning from totally different fields, and just focusing on a consistent process instead of chasing short-term hype. These are powerful ideas anyone can use. And he applied this immense wealth with a very clear purpose. Through the Simmons Foundation, he and his wife Marilyn have donated over $3 billion to advance basic science, mathematics, and autism research, funding the next generation of discovery. His ultimate legacy is just profound. The quant funds, the robo-advisors, the algorithmic trading that basically runs modern markets, all of that stands on the foundation that he built. He proved that the market wasn't just a place of gut feelings, but a system that could actually be understood through the language of math and data. And that leaves us with this final, powerful idea, which is really the core of his entire philosophy. Don't waste your time trying to guess the future. Instead, build a system, a process, a framework for understanding the world based on evidence. Because in the end, that's the only edge that truly lasts.